Welcome to Shelby Podcast, a production of Shelby Systems Media. And now here's your host, Don Alsop.
On today's show, we'll be talking with Steve Pruitt, the Director of Shelby Systems Technology Division. He will be talking to us about some of the features of the check-in program. Everyone from the novice to the expert will learn something new and useful about this tool. Plus, Steve will cover some of the enhancements recently added to check-in and explain how you can watch a helpful video presentation. Thanks for joining us for another Shelby Podcast, where we pledge to keep you up to date with what is going on at Shelby Systems.
Don, what we're hoping for is that this podcast and the accompanying video demo will help everyone to become more familiar with Shelby's check-in program and really start taking advantage of some of its new features.
That's today's special guest, Steve Pruitt, Director of the Technology Development Division for Shelby Systems. Steve recently celebrated his 15th year at Shelby. He began his work in the support department in 1992 as a technician, was promoted to support manager, moved up to Director of Business Development, and currently leads the Development Division. Steve has a very successful track record in all of these positions. Check-in, with its ability to manage a full range of situations calling for people to register attendance for an activity, has become one of Shelby's most popular programs. Large, mid-size, and even smaller churches are discovering that security is becoming an important issue, and the Shelby Systems check-in program is here to assist you. Steve will be joining us next to explain what the check-in program does, how to get the most out of it, and how the new enhancements make the software even more useful. We'll also tell you how you can watch a video that will demonstrate some of the most useful features of the check-in program. Welcome back to Shelby Podcast. Our very special guest today is Steve Pruitt. He is the Director of Technology Development at Shelby Systems. Welcome to the show, Steve. For those who have never seen the check-in program before, can you briefly tell us what it does?
Well, thanks, Don, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today, and especially to be able to talk about an application that I feel very strongly about and can really get excited about. It's one of those applications that we've really put a lot of effort into recently, and we're very excited about the things that we've done and that we're allowing the churches to do. Most people may not realize that Shelby actually was a pioneer in the check-in software. We actually produced a product called Nursery Security back in the early 90s for several churches and kind of enhanced it and taken it to the next level here recently. The check-in system helps you manage a full range of situations that call for people to register for attendance and for activities. But primarily its purpose is to assist churches with security issues and checking individuals, primarily children, nurseries, daycares, into the different classrooms, and then also being able to check them out.
And are there different ways to check people into the system?
You can use this check-in system in several different modes and methods. You've got the manned method for a visitor or information desk where you can key in the information and check individuals in that way. You can also operate on an unmanned mode where if you've got a barcoded ID card, you could come up, swipe your ID card, check the individual in immediately. And you've also got the unmanned touch. If you want to use a touch screen interface, you could key in your phone number or a name ID and check in the system that way using the touch screen as well.
How is check-in helping churches to deal with the security problems that many organizations face today, especially when it comes to children?
Well, Don, we understand that security is becoming a big issue with both large and small congregations. So Shelby's check-in program helps you solve those security issues. For example, when you check a child in, the parent will receive a customized receipt with a unique code that is specific to their child. The teacher will then verify that unique code before handing the child back to the parent. The system will also print multiple receipts or labels, one for the child, one for the diaper bag, and one for the parent. You might also want to print a receipt in the classroom so that the teacher has the information about the child, such information as allergies, where the parents are located during the church service, telephone numbers, special instructions, pager information, and even pictures of the parents. All of these features work together to give you peace of mind when parents entrust their children to your care.
Tell us about some of the customization features of the check-in system.
Well, Don, this is the piece that's really exciting about the Shelby's check-in system that sets it apart from just about anything else that's out there. Each one of the kiosks can be set up independent of the others. So each one of the kiosks can have a different look, a different skin, and operate differently than the others. So for example, your nursery kiosk may have teddy bears and blocks on the skin, where the high school has a high-tech type theme. Using that same example, you can do customized labels and or receipts for each one of the classes as well. For example, you might want to print 3 labels and a receipt for the nursery area, but just print a name tag for the high school. One of the truly unique features of Shelby's check-in is the ability to print to multiple printers in multiple locations for one check-in incident. You can also customize the on-screen message, so when an individual checks in, they would see their name on the screen, and if it happened to be their birthday that day, it would even wish them a happy birthday.
Please tell us about the new enhancements that were recently added to the check-in program.
Well, Don, we have focused a lot of energy and a lot of attention on the check-in system of late. Some of the more prominent recent enhancements are the ability to check in to more than one class or organization at a time. An example would be if you wanted to go to the 8:30 Bible class and also attend the 9:30 worship service. You could check your child into the nursery area for both classes or organizations at the same time. You can also now use a QWERTY-style keyboard for the touchscreen interface. Printing pictures on the labels and receipts is also something that we've just added into the system. These are just 3 of the many changes that have been made recently. At Shelby, we're committed to continue to enhance the check-in module to provide the best and most flexible check-in system available.
In conclusion, is there anything else you'd like to add before you go, Steve?
Well, thanks, Don, for having me here today and for the opportunity to talk about the check-in system. Helping churches is what I'm passionate about, and especially when it comes to assisting them with enhanced security. I also want to mention to your listeners that we have produced a video demo that will provide some additional information about hardware and software features and implementation help. This video, along with links to other reference materials, are available on the Shelby Podcast webpage.
Thanks, Steve, for joining us today. Steve is already making marked improvements in his new position for Shelby, and we appreciate him taking time to help us understand how the newly enhanced check-in program works. We'll talk to Steve again on another day and find out more about him personally and his future plans for the direction of Shelby software. If you would like to see a video presentation of check-in features and new enhancements, just visit our Shelby Podcast webpage site, shelbyinc.com/podcast, and click on the See Check-in Demo link. Don't miss our next program where we will interview Bobby Easley, who writes SS Tips. He will tell us how to be prepared for year-end financials. But before we go, here is our inspirational quote for the day from Matthew 18:4. Therefore, whoever humbles himself like this child will be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
You've been listening to Shelby Podcast with your host, Don Alsop. Shelby Podcast is produced by Shelby Systems Media and can be heard online at shelbyinc.com/podcast, or you can download the program, copy it to your iPod or MP3 player, and listen at your convenience. Make sure you click the RSS link so that you get each new show automatically. Shelby Podcast is now available on iTunes. We want to hear from you. Please send your comments, questions, or suggestions to shelbypodcast@shelbyinc.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next time for another Shelby Podcast.